One of my interests in the world as Mahdi Shaheeb Sher is the Vatican and the popes we've had there over the past few years. I think we had Pope John Paul, who sadly died as well. But I think with Pope John Paul, we had some kind of a controversy with his death, but and the introduction of Pope Francis. I think Pope Francis is kind of like an American pope, influenced by America. But I think with the popes at the moment, they're very much engaged with building Christianity in Africa, and maybe Latin America as well, but primarily Africa. I think that's where the popes are concentrated on at the moment, to build kind of the Christian population in Africa. I don't think much of the world has much of a focus on Africa at the moment, other than maybe the popes with Christianity, and maybe Americans as well. I think the Americans have an interest with excuse me, with Africa as well. But I think that the world is limited with the role that popes can play in the world now, because obviously we live in a very secular, democratic world that's focused on advanced economies and quality of life for people, and standards of life for people, and good accommodation and healthy living. So I think that's the type of world we live in, and I think it's very limited for perhaps people like the Pope, who are perhaps more drawn to how traditional Christians live, perhaps with their neighbours and things. So I think that the role of popes is quite limited in the world. And I think also that there could perhaps be a negative influence in the world as well, perhaps because they're primarily focused on Christianity in the world. I think most of their views and policies and feelings come from Christianity. I think that's what they preach as the head of the Catholic Church. I think that's what they do. So they do kind of command a religious view in the world, and I think that that's pretty much absent now. So I think that there is too much of a focus on the popes at the moment. Over the past 10 to 15 years, I think there's been a very sharp increase in their role in the world and their political influence, and also how their views are kind of absorbed by the public. So I think that they do seem quite powerful at the moment, whereas 15 years ago they had more of a backseat and they weren't too powerful in the world. So I think that I think that there is a view. I think there's a view that perhaps that perhaps the popes could have more of a traditional mainstream role within the world, rather than some kind of an American proactive role in the world, with a focus on maybe Africa and developing countries. So I think those are my disfavourable views about the Vatican at the moment. Thank you very much.